whatever this thing does. Yo, what's up, everybody? We are Philly 444 plus some more, much more. Sorry, stumbling for a second there. Fourth and go. I'm Dave Gluckner. That's Marc Tomasini. We are on the Heat Ratio Live Sports Network. What's up, Marc?
What up? What up? It's actually a winning Tuesday.
What the
Flyers took care of business. 5-3.
I saw that.
Blue Jackets kind of hurting their draft stock, but that's okay because it's a lottery. But it technically a winning Tuesday.
It's funny because there's only one team worse than them, and it's pretty much Columbus. And they got that. Oh, I'll take it. I saw an early Konechny goal, and that was pretty solid. But where we're at today, we're broadcasting on Tuesday, December 20th, here in South Jersey because holidays coming up. We got a lot of things going on, and honestly, the early Eagles game on Saturday gives us a good opportunity to talk here on Tuesday. So here we go, working into the weekend, one day early, but I'll talk everything Philly tonight. But first off, we'll get into the Eagles. Marc, I think both of us felt like that game this weekend would be win, but a sneaky win. We didn't predict a huge blowout like we did with the Giants, and it kind of like set itself up in a way that we thought would happen. I mean, I get it. It's 5-point win, but in the end, they were up 13 late and 12 late, I should say.
That last touchdown, the Pringle was
broken
play. It was
But I hear too many people coming out saying, oh, they struggled. Oh, that was a tough game. To me, it wasn't that tough of a game. I never worried. How were you?
No, I never really worried. Again, I know we'll get into it, but didn't love the game plan, the way that they attacked it.
Oh,
I thought they weren't sharp. I thought they let the Chicago atmosphere get to them. I thought they felt that they had to do different things, which I really don't think they had to go away from their playbook, and they did. And it showed that, it led to some sloppiness. It led to putting Jalen out there in trouble, obviously, as we're going to talk about. And I'm telling you, no lie, I said this within the first 5 minutes of the game. If Jalen gets hurt for next week, I'm going to be pissed. I said it. You saw it right away.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I get it.
Into that, but I'm just saying, like, their game plan was horrendous, in my opinion.
I agree with that. You're onto something. I was on Sirius Radio. I did a few other things, and I really felt this would be a Miles Sanders week. And not that I was off, but to the point of you don't give him the first carry until 23 minutes into the game.
Correct.
Is that me, or is that like Sirianni? And to me, that's a lot of Sirianni. And I know we'll get into the Hurts injury, but the point being, and it's kind of what you alluded to, how do you get away? 29th ranked rush defense in the NFL, 30th in rush defense DVOA, and you wait until the 23rd minute to give your running back his first carry?
Yeah.
Questionable.
Very questionable. I mean, you think about it, Sirianni came out this morning and said that it's what the Bears defense gave them.
No, stop.
No,
and I'm with you. I'm reacting to him.
I'm just trying to think. Okay, I know sometimes Jayla can choose the option, but you can tell the way some of those runs were that he chose himself. But at the same time, like, he's not doing that. I've never seen him run so much unforced. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I felt like in Detroit, I go back to that game. He had to win the game. Like, it is what the defense gave him because he tried passing the ball and they kind of closed down the lane, so he had to run. He ran a lot in that game and he won that game on his feet. It made sense. Then you look at the Packers game. Packers gave him all those lanes. Again, I felt like he knew the right time. I think he could see what the defense was giving him. The guy that was supposed to be spying on him just did a terrible job, and he knew that early on. This game, I mean, he's running into traffic. These were not the same looks, in my opinion. And if that's the case, if you felt like you could run the ball yourself, Why not give it to Miles Sanders? I don't understand that. The whole thing is, I'm a believer of run to throw the ball. Well, they were just running to run the ball. I mean, obviously they ended up throwing for a lot, but I felt like there was just a lot of harmful decisions made and not even using your running back. And yes, you have Miles Sanders, but you also have Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell who are capable as well. So it's not like Sanders was hurt and you couldn't put somebody else in there.
So a lot of what you said is 1000% truth. And not that anything you said was wrong. The point being is, we come off dominating the Packers in the run game, and then we go dominate the Titans in the pass game. And then New York's kind of a blend of both, right?
Sure.
Even though Hurts ends up with a huge game in that game, but Sanders goes for 140 plus. This week, I really did expect it to be a running focused game, especially with the weather, the conditions, and everything else going on. And for him to flip this thing and really go into pass mode / Hurts running mode, that's the slash is what I'm really questioning. You can pass all day and wouldn't be mad, but to turn it into a 17 carry Hurts day, oh, that was a little bit rough for me. I love Hurts, and I think he can win these games, and we all are behind him right now.
Yeah.
But they just versus that defense. If it was the third ranked running defense or the 10th, whatever, you could understand trying to mix up with RPO and going with your quarterback. 29th, 30th ranked run defense and going out there with that game plan. Steichen, I question, and definitely Sirianni. And I know Adam's checking in. He says, all right, we'll do it now. I talked to a lot of people tonight. And the sprained shoulder comes out, and we understand what's going on. I'm 1,000% with what Adam just said. I do think Hurts plays on Saturday. And here's the thing. And I'd love to get your opinion, and we'll get right to it. But you got a guy, if we're 8-6, he's playing, there's no doubt and there's no questions, right? I get 13-1 changes the game plan a little bit. But let's just take a step back here and think about, if you're 8-6, he's healthy enough to play. If you're 13-1, you got to think about it. So throw it out. He's healthy enough to play. Now, the other factor into this is they're going to be off for a long, long time as long as they win one more game. That's it. One more game. Where do you want to win that one more game? It's this week. And my theory and opinion is, yes, you have to beat the Saints. You can do that with Gardner.
Yeah.
If you can win this week, he's off 3 weeks.
Yes.
If you sit him this week, and then all of a sudden they lose, and that team with the star gains a little momentum, and then now you got to play him in New Orleans, you gave him a week off for what?
Yeah.
Because the theory behind a shoulder strain is you need a little time and rest. You're not going to get that if you rest 1 week, play, rest 2 weeks.
Right.
Let's go at it. Let's go get him this week. I'm with Adam. I think he should play this week. I think he will play this week. The winning part is a little bit whatever happens, but I do think he plays. What's your thoughts on this injury and where his prospects are for this Saturday?
I'm kind of in the same boat. You hear different reports about it. It's doom and gloom. Schefter's the one who broke the story today. It's actually Gargano had a lot to do with him breaking that story, and he gave him credit. But I heard Gargano, and he was just like, "Oh, he's not going to play. He's not going to play for a month." And I was just like, that's.
I don't want that.
No, it's a very bad look. But like you said, it's exactly your point, and I completely agree with you. If he's 8-6, and they, it's do or die, he's in. He's in that game, and he wants to be in. I mean, he played against Tampa Bay with a terrible ankle. I mean, that thing was was more crucial of what it was.
Didn't he get surgery?
I'm sorry?
Didn't he get surgery or something on it after that game? There was something.
I think he had some kind of procedure.
Yep.
Yeah. With a sprained shoulder, again, like I said, I wanted to get to this before, but I knew, I saw the writing on the walls. The Bears were going after him. They were going to take care of it. That play, he just lands on him. It was just a run that just was so unnecessary. And Nick was trying to explain that he was supposed to get to the outside and, the safety bit in and, stop this. It doesn't matter what happened. You put him in harm's way. This wasn't, with a big hole and he had it. No, it was for a 2-yard run. You weren't accomplishing much. And that's the kind of stuff that you can't afford to have. And it's funny because a year ago I would have been saying, oh, I can't wait to see Minshew. Now I'm like, can't believe Hurts is out of this game. I mean, he comes back, he plays the rest of the game, has the adrenaline, everything like that. But for a sprained shoulder, no, I absolutely think. And also, not that winning the MVP is important, but that would be, a good thing for him. Cool. And I know that
I'm with you.
Very rarely do MVP winners actually win the Super Bowl, but it's just it is kind of by design of the team. And it's, we get into the Micah Parsons comments and what he said, but at the same time, because if Minshew plays and beats them, then maybe there is some validity to what Parsons said. But besides that, I think you are taking a chance, not saying that Dallas is a winnable game. I mean, it is, but not saying, obviously the Saints and the Giants are easier, but why take that chance if you don't have to take the chance? If you can get this taken care of now, nip it in the bud. And I think it's your best chance. And I think for a lot of things, for the season to go forward, you need him in that game if he can play that game. I think he needs to be in that game, national spotlight, Christmas Eve. If he can throw the ball, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to be in that game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I think from what Adam's saying, they're gonna just he said today it's business as usual. And it seemed like Sirianni and Jalen Hurts were not ready to say that he couldn't do it. You got a bunch of these pundits saying he's not going to. They didn't sound like that. It could be this team that they all play, but
I don't think Sirianni is going to play his card on Tuesday, right? I'm hearing where you're going, but I wouldn't take what they're saying today is anything but posture for the Cowboys game. Short week, short being 1 day shorter, but I just think in the whole scheme of things, he played, right? He played and he ripped the ball down the field and he was okay in Chicago in bad conditions. Then all of a sudden the sprained shoulder comes out. And in the end, it is concerning.
Yeah.
This feels like the same type. I don't want to say it was exactly the same week, but it's within 10 days of when Wentz got hurt in LA. And that was the year that we went on to win the Super Bowl. And it was doom or gloom at that point because we had to go with Foles to win a game against the Raiders and then win a game. I think there was one more other, and then you had the sharpen up Cowboys game that looked bad. Then we go in the playoffs. I still think this one's a little different. I think Minshew's in a better shape to control this team. But in the end, I need this guy to go out and close this thing out. I need this guy to stay sharp. I don't need him off for a month. And if I can give him 3 weeks off instead of 1 week off, maybe next week, I think this is the week to play him. Yeah. See where he's at. Give him a short leash.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can tell the ball's just not coming out of his arm right, all right, bring Minshew in.
Well, yep.
And if Dallas is attacking him, and I mean, look, it's it's going to be a lot of pressure on the line, but I think the line is up to the challenge. But I think they're going to take care of business. So I think if it looks like they're gunning and looking to attack and really get to him like that, again, you bring in Minshew. I think it's good to have him ready, and you can play this posturing game all you want, but I agree, short leash, and I think you got to go with it. Like I said, there's so many reasons why I think that Jalen needs this game. I think he needs to be in this game. I think it's a lot for his career.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we're on the same page here. And I'm checking in with another comment. Parsons got burned by the Jags. Yes, he did. And here's the thing about Parsons. He is an amazing player, and he is a game changer. But the fact that some guys are out there calling him the next Lawrence Taylor is so short-sighted. This guy's great, and he's good, and he can change games. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's in year 2, year 1.5 if you really want to get smart. And there's going to be some times he's going to get burnt. And he got burnt last weekend against the Jaguars. And Doug P did a little bit of damage on them. And the Eagles even did some damage the first time he played here.
Yeah,
He got
I was going to
isolated.
say they
Yeah.
went at him.
Yep.
He was not the answer. He did not change the game.
And I know we talked about his comments last week, and they can leave on and they can resonate, but they're on a whiteboard right now somewhere in South Philly, and they'll chalk it up. But in the end, Micah Parsons is a problem, and I won't take that away from anything the Cowboys are going to do. But he's a small problem. The problem is, what are the Eagles going to do against them? And does it really matter? And that's what we got to get into this week. At 13-1, Marc, is 16-1 so important to you, or is the number one by the goal and worrying about everything else?
I would say, to preface it, 15-2 is important to me.
Which is a great record.
Yeah, because it means we beat the Cowboys, we beat the Saints, so we can better our draft position. I mean, obviously, whatever happens with that is cake, but they're not 100% out of it. They're technically not eliminated from playoff contention. The AFC South is not absolute disaster, but it would be nice. I mean, that pick is now dropped down to 9, I think, based on their win against the Falcons. But and then whatever happens with the Giants game, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. But I think it is important to, I'm just really, my focus is on this week and taking care of business. If they can go and get this win, it does so much for this team. You beat Dallas twice. You take it to him. Jalen gets the monkey off his back because it was all, he can't perform against Dallas. He can't perform against Dallas. He had a good first half. And this team finally has put complete games together. And that was one of my biggest gripes earlier this season. They did a lot of their damage in the first half of most of their games. But you look at it now, they're scoring in all quarters. They're not being stagnant. They're doing more. Okay. With this, I need that. I need to see that they can still play the way that they played in the first half against Dallas in another game. If they do that, I think they can compete with anybody. So that's why I need to. That's why I need Hurts out there, and I need to see it again.
I'm with you. Like, in the right scenario, right? We got to monitor the injury. We got to know a little bit more about it. A shoulder sprain is serious, but it's not as serious if it can be shot up with cortisone and worked the right way. It's just a bruise. That's the way it's kind of looked at in the medical world. It's pain tolerance, and we'll see. I do want to see him, and this is this has zero to do with the Dallas and the opponent in front of me. It's more of close out 14-1, take off the next 3 weeks, and I just want to get it done, get it set, get it done with. I realize if we lose this week, we're still in control of everything we need. I just don't need someone off 1 week, play next week because we panicked after we lose. If we lose, and now he plays and it doesn't do anything for me. Like, it needs time to heal. Give him a week, play some ball, go out, get them Cowboys, and then next 3 weeks you're out and you're resting. Like you said, you still have the reps in and you're getting it in practice. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. But I've heard a lot of good solutions and understanding where you would be at with him. I just don't need him all for the next month. I don't.
No, that always, because I think I said something a couple weeks ago about, when you are the number 1 seed and having that time off. And I think you said something along the lines of like, well, this is like only the second time that it's a 17 playoff set to where only the first team gets the bye. It is an advantage. I'm pretty sure you said something to me along those lines, which is great and all. Like especially if this shoulder is something that will be nagging, it's good for him to get the time off. But we've seen so many times in so many scenarios where a team locks up, the conference or second place, with 2 or 3 games left, and you take it off, you have your backup quarterback in there, your starters play limited reps, and you have off a week of the playoffs, and then you just come out flat and you lose to a wild card team. Like it's a mix of them being hot and them having to, back into the playoffs and not back into the playoffs, but, right the ship moving into the playoffs. And while you're sitting at home relaxing with your feet up, and then like, oh, you wipe the cobwebs out of your eyes, and before you know it, you're down 24-0 in a divisional playoff game. So I agree with you. I don't like the whole month. Get it done now. And then honestly, and I'm good with Minshew getting the reps after that. Like, I think he can beat the Saints. I really do. I think he can
beat the Cowboys.
If he's starting, I'm not worried about it. You and I both know we'll put the mustaches on. We're Minshew mania.
I love him.
I do too. We're big fans. If he does start, I still think they win this game. And I know I'm saying that early, but I'm just saying I have that much confidence in him, but I really want to see Jalen go out there and do it and take care of business. And like you said, close up 14-1. He's done this. It will be his bow that he can tie.
I agree with that. And here's the other aspect I've heard today, and I wonder if you're buying into this. If he doesn't play this week, and God forsaken, they win this week somehow with Minshew, then he's out the next two. He loses the MVP. And I'll be honest, you don't play the next three, you don't win the MVP. That is the truth.
Yeah.
Someone was trying to tell me tonight, you're playing for the MVP. I don't. MVP doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. Maybe it matters to him because of here's the hard part, a contract.
Yeah. Like they can't not give a contract to a guy who just won MVP, and they can't not give him.
But what if he doesn't because he didn't play the last 3 weeks?
Right. The whole thing is it's going to be funny, if they do win, and whether he if he does play, and then they lock it up, he's not going to play the last 2 weeks of the season. You can't fault that on him. They'll say no, he won the conference, so he'll get the MVP. Really, this is one game. This one game is going to be in flux for the MVP. It doesn't matter what he does the next 2 games after that if they win. It doesn't matter.
Interesting point. Do I worry about them having too much time off? I do. I've never been a guy that says rest everybody and be okay in 3 weeks. Rust is a very big factor.
For real.
In the way, like the teams that have won Super Bowls recently have just played hard going into the postseason and had to play all the way through. Even the Eagles, if you look back to 2017 year, I want to say the last week was against the Cowboys.
That was the one I think like Sudfeld played.
I thought Foles played up to half.
I was it a quarter or a half? I can't remember.
Quarter or a half, but it was still a little something for me.
Yeah.
Like I just remember it being a little something, and I look at the Rams last year, and they had to play it a little all the way through. If you look on the AFC side, Bills and Chiefs are going to have to play the whole way out.
Yeah.
And then I go back the year before that, and that's the year that we had the Bucs win, right? And the Bucs had to play all the way because they ended up getting the last division winner seed and played the Redskins at the time. These teams, like recently, and especially in this format, you need to play. You can't take off that amount of time. You're getting a bye. Play through weeks 18. It's fine. So Adam, I worry if we rest us too much, but I'm okay resting Hurts. And I only say that is everything is clinched and we do the way that we're projecting that he plays this week, we win. I'm fine with him resting 2 weeks, but I'd rather everybody else play.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to go that route. Like, unless somebody's really on the schneid and they have an injury that they need to heal up, like they could play, but they need to heal up, I'm okay with those one-offs. But in regard, like AJ should be out there, Devontae should be out there. Dallas coming off of an injury, he absolutely has to be out there. The line has to be out there. We need that continuity going. Hurts with an injury on his side, yeah, I think so. And honestly, if you want to give yourself some reason to play the last week of the season, if you don't want to, I mean, they took care of business, so it's probably, I'm just kind of mustering this up, but if they don't want to let the Giants in, and if there's the possibility of letting a non-NFC East team in, that would be like something it's kind of more bulletin board material than anything. But that would be the reason why you would want to play your guys, just to not let somebody of your own get in because you laid down.
I hear that. Here's the thing. I mean, Dallas isn't falling anywhere past the 5, right? Like,
No, of course.
Like the only motivation you have is beat them, and then somehow the Giants jump up.
That's
But I just don't
that's
see. I don't see them getting all the way there.
but I mean it's still possible that all four NFC East teams are in there, I think. I mean, I think
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, like,
I'm saying so you could find a reason. Like obviously you want to beat Dallas and clinch the division or clinch the conference and the division on Saturday. That's your reason for beating Dallas. You want to beat the Saints because you want a better draft pick in April. And then you beat the Giants because you want to take an NFC East team out of the playoffs. I'm just saying those are technically, as a fan, reasons why you would want to win those games. Like you actually have reasons behind why you would want to do that.
no, I'm with you. I just don't think Dallas has fallen much further behind where they're at.
No.
And realistically, they're not catching us. So it's like, I mean, it's as big for them as it is for us. It's big for them from the standpoint is they want to show us it's no Cooper Rush. But in the end, I'm not playing their game. I'm playing, I need to get to 14-1 and call it a day. That's where I'm at.
Yes.
I mean, we'll see what it all boils down to. I do have, and you're like me, I do have confidence in Gardner Minshew if we have to go out there and roll him out more than we expected, whether that's starting quarterback or whether that's coming in mid, late first, early second. I do have confidence that he can control this team and run this team to a point that it's a very competitive game and not stealing it away. So it's very hard to give me a prediction going into this game, but I just want to get your take. What do you think ends up happening from a quarterback who starts and how it finishes standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, on the hopeful side, I'm hopeful that's Jalen Hurts. Do I think there's a real possibility it's Gardner Minshew? Yeah. I think he's going to be playing with some motivation this week because of the whole Mike Leach scenario with him passing away. That was his coach. He spoke at his eulogy today. So, it's kind of like one of those one play, do it for the Gipper type of thing.
Yeah.
The thing with Gardner Minshew is his numbers are great. He's 41 to 12 touchdown to interception ratio in his career. So, I mean, he gets the job done. And he's got a great team around him. So throwing him, I mean, he smoked the Jets last year, but this team wasn't nearly as good as they are last year. So he's going to go back out there. And this time he's got AJ Brown. He's got a healthy Dallas Goedert because him and Goddard had a really good connection. I mean, I think there's a lot of pauses that can come from this. I think either way, the Eagles will be able to take care of business. I think they're going to be up for it. I think they, you can't help but notice the national pundits still think that the Cowboys are something. They still find these fluky stats that say they have a 50% chance of going to the Super Bowl, and the Eagles only have a 26% chance, let alone the fact that the Eagles are in first place. Like, they want to, conduct the stats to fall into favor with the Cowboys. Like, it's just, they can't help it. And I get it. Like, they say maybe this year's the year with the Cowboys. Honestly, I'll tell you, and I think this was one of my concerns going into the game. I want to say probably against the Titans, but how do they stop the run? Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard has been fantastic. We've talked about him a lot. I think that's honestly going to be their biggest deficit. I think they can stop the receiving game. I mean, they've put a lot of stock into Noah Brown. It seems like CeeDee Lamb's good, but hasn't been, crazy good. So they haven't really been getting a lot out of the receiving game. They've been able to benefit from the running game. So it's going to be how's the Eagles team stop, because they really have two, like a 1A and a 1B back, and with two different styles, in my opinion. And that's going to be, the biggest question that I have, bigger than who is our quarterback.
Yeah, they're good points because Pollard's been fantastic. I feel like if there was no 1A, 1B, I'd be more scared. And I think Zeke has been good for them, very good, but he's not a guy that scares me. Like, he's going to
I know. He just keeps finding his way into the end zone. That's what it is.
That's
I think
true.
it's 7 games in a row.
And if he dusts off something versus us, it's 17, 18 yards max, where Pollard can bust a 60. That's Pollard can bust us in the pass game. The one guy that doesn't scare me is Dak Prescott. And he showed it again this week. And all of you Cowboys fans can say it. You can sit there on your high horse and think that he's still your guy, but that pass in overtime was atrocious. And it's on the run. It's on the side of Noah Brown, and it pops up. You can blame your receiver because that's what you'll do because you love Dak. Bad pass. And you got the right result. And I just think he's been that kind of guy this year. 11 interceptions. I think it's his second high of his career already. He's only played, 8 games this year?
Right.
So, say all you want, cockroaches, but he's your hindrance right now. He's your reason for probably having some trepidation. Maybe you don't get worried about the Philadelphia Eagles because you just don't want to. But in the end, if you don't have a quarterback that can actually execute and you have faith in versus a very tenacious defensive front in the Philadelphia Eagles, you're going to have problems. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay that you want to doubt. You want to think your QB is going to be something. And then I ain't scared of him. And that's really where I think this game comes down to, Mark. It's the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles have such a massive advantage on the defensive line.
Yeah.
I think we can, whoever is manning right behind Jason Kelsey, we can find ways to move the ball.
Sure.
But that defensive line and their ability, like you said, the run game's a concern, but they can stop the run game, which they have against Derrick Henry, which they have against, previously Saquon Barkley.
Jonathan Taylor even.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't go for 100. I'm just saying.
No, he didn't. Whatever this week, it was a little bit, it wasn't the greatest run defense, but they did great in the rush of the quarterback. I think that's where this game is won. It's not won with Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew. It's won with the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I think they're up to the challenge. I think they're up to the game. And I think they're, call me crazy, I think they have a better chance with Gardner Minshew this week.
A better chance?
I do. And it's not, that's short term, right? Right. And what I mean by that is just that I think you can rally around the short term injury.
Yeah.
A little more in this essence against a guy yapping against teams that said, oh, you beat us with Cooper Rush. You can't beat us with Dak. Now we're going to throw Minshew at you with you, Dak, and we can still beat you. I just think there's that, just keep saucing it up, keep stirring the pot. And I just think for this 1 week, this one time, the day before Christmas, I actually think they have a better shot to win with a Gardner Minshew, a motivated defense, motivated coach, a healthy quarterback, than they do a banged up Jalen. That's just my thing. Yeah.
Like I said, I think there's reasons why Jalen needs to be in there. I think there's reasons why he needs to do it. He's not going to be 100%. I know you do too. But, I mean, Gardner is such a firecracker. And
we've seen – give him 1 day. Sleeping in a van all summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Christmas Eve.
Right.
Ball. I'm telling you.
And I'm telling you, if he – look, I mean, we've seen Mark Sanchez go into Dallas and just light them up when they were good.
Yep.
When they were good. They were good that year.
That was Vic? Who was our starter that year?
That was Foles and Sanchez.
Okay, Foles was –
I think Foles got injured, so then Sanchez came in because we brought in Sanchez at the backup. And Sanchez had a couple decent games, and then he was Thanksgiving Day in Dallas, and he just completely lit them up. And I think Gardner Minshew is, more talented. I think that the team that they're playing, I mean, we had a lot of good players then. This was still that Macklin, McCoy era time. But I really like, the opportunity for Gardner Minshew. But, I mean, it's tough. Honestly, like I said, I can see this either way. I can see with either quarterback, I think they can do it. I really do. But I think the emphasis becomes more on the defense if Gardner Minshew is in there. It's going to change the narrative and the storyline of everything. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm that's where I'm at. And C's rates, that's about that. Yeah, probably 15 to 20.
15
I'm
fair.
like
I wouldn't go any higher than that.
I can play this game right now. I'll just throw this at you.
Let's do it. I know where you're going.
Better quarterback. He says 15 to 20, so I'll throw Hurts.
Are you asking?
Yeah, you're in, right?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, look, I've completely changed my tune.
But that's the rest of the NFC East. I'm not even getting to the Giants and Commanders. I'll go to NFC North. I'll say better Rodgers.
Okay.
And
you have to say this. Say it. I want you to say it. Yes. 100%. I don't flinch at that.
Okay.
Cousins is a really good passer. He's done it with less talent. Now he's got more talent. I mean, he's a choke artist, but he has the arm talent. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time.
I'm okay with that. Now, I'm not going to take Goff or Fields, but I'll let you try if you want.
No. I think honestly, the way that Goff has been playing with the talent that he has,
he's getting there,
they're
but
not too far apart. They're not too far apart, in my opinion.
They're not far, but I'll still take Prescott.
I'll take Goff over that. Yes, I agree. And Fields needs to go the Hurts route, and he needs to become a better passer.
Right, it's time. So South, you got to take the GOAT. So that gets me 4 better.
Yeah.
I won't take anybody else in the South. I'm not touching the Falcons, Panthers, or Saints quarterbacks. All right, out in the West, you got to look at healthy, and I would take Stafford over him. Super Bowl, you have to.
Yeah. Healthy Stafford.
So that's 5. I hate Kyler, so I won't. How about you?
No, I won't either. Kyler's never done anything, in my opinion.
Right, and I can't take Garoppolo.
No.
And I can't take Geno. All right, so we're 5 out of the NFC. Let's go to AFC. I think this gets pretty easy.
Yeah.
AFC East, I gotta take Allen. Do I take Tua?
I don't know, because I mean the thing is, I think Tua's only become better because of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And you could say the same thing for the Eagles, but I think that Hurts has done a lot more, and you've really seen the change. I think the one thing that's different is Tyreek Hill is just a freak.
Yes.
He just gets so open. It's like hard to miss.
And I'm not a Tua guy. So
right.
I'm not there. All right. So we'll see. And then I'm not going to take Mac Jones or a Jets quarterback. Right. So we're at 6. I'll go to the South. I would take. I'm going to take T-Law. I'd take that talent over him. I would. I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence right now. I would.
Yes, right now, because I think we've seen what Dak is. So I think it's fair to say that I think there's more upside with Trevor Lawrence.
All right, that's 7. I don't go Tannehill.
No.
I don't go Matt Ryan. And I don't go anything in Houston. All right, we're at 7. Going to the AFC North. In the North, L. Jacks, you got to take Lamar. That gets you 8. I don't take anything in Pittsburgh. Burrow, I take 9. Yep. Here's a tricky one. Do you take Deshaun? I say no right now.
You can't. He hasn't done anything in 2 years, and I don't know what he's ever going to be with Cleveland. So no.
All right, so we're at 9. And then I'll give you in the AFC West, I got to take Mahomesy. I got to take Herbert. And so that gets us to 11. Not Denver and not Derek Carr. So, okay, I'll give Dak 12.
I'm thinking. I'm rattling my brain. I don't know if I can do this. I've always had a soft spot for Carr.
I know. I do, but I don't. Like
now, a couple years ago, you have Wilson in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, but this isn't a couple years ago. I mean, I think he's probably just hit his road. So I guess now. So I mean, if we don't put Carr in there, we're saying 12.
I'm saying 12.
It's been a bad year for quarterbacks, I think.
No, bad. Like that's exactly where I was when I was thinking.
Right.
I can't believe I have this idiot at
Right. I mean,
I can't and I'm not we're the biggest we're Eagles Nation. We're the biggest Cowboy haters.
yeah.
And I got to give them 12.
And it felt like we were pulling teeth to do it, but I mean,
There's
look,
no
you
way.
and I,
It's
we're
bad.
realists too, and we're not going to sit here and say, Davis Mills is better than Dak
No.
Prescott just because we hate Dak Prescott. No,
No, our borderline's probably Trevor Lawrence, but we both took him.
Right. That was one you could say
Everything else is clear, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
T-Law is a little but 14-1 his last 5 weeks. He's been balling.
Right.
Dude, I can't believe that guy is fucking 12. He stinks.
Yeah.
I literally think Dak Prescott stinks. From a perspective of he's got so much talent and so much behind him that he just finds ways to lose games. He doesn't worry me. Not in the least bit.
No, it's not him. I mean, back in the day, it used to be Zeke that would worry me. It was either Dez or Elliott.
Yep.
Dak was just there by default because he was the one getting the ball to them.
But it's funny, the story back then was Dak or Wentz, and I would always defend Wentz. Obviously now it's Dak, but it ain't Dak over Jalen. So let's get into just do what we know. Eagles, Cowboys, Christmas Eve, 4:25. What do you got?
I got the Eagles taking care of business. I think the defense is going to come up big. I think they're going to find a way to whether it is getting Gainwell involved in the screen pass game. I think they're going to find ways to win with whoever the quarterback is. And the thing is, I think that Minshew has never played with AJ Brown. I would really like to see what that connection looks like. Gardner's got a little bit of a cannon for a guy that he is. He's a fire spitter. And really, Devontae's come on as of late too. I mean, and it's nice going to have Dallas Goedert back. He's got fresh legs. Honestly, I think that I honestly think Minshew can put up 250 plus.
I do
with this team against the Cowboys. I really do. Like I said, my biggest concern is the running game of the Cowboys, but I think the Eagles can do bend don't break on the run, and I think they can not completely shut down the pass, but I think they'll really be able to take care of business. They're not going to allow them to do anything with their receivers. So really, it's going to be a running back heavy game for Dallas, and I think the Eagles can just take care of that because they're very spacious. I like the Eagles in this one, 30-25, kind of a weird score for Dallas, but 30-25.
All right, man. I like it. And I like it. I hinted at it earlier. There's just this way that if this week works out and you can't play Hurts, I actually think the Eagles are at a little more advantage than they would be. And I think Minshew in a one-game spotlight on Christmas Eve with a guy that has weapons like we do with AJ, Devontae, and the potential for Dallas to play this week. He got added to the 53-man roster earlier today. Having the Miles, having the Gainwell, having the Scott, there's just so many options on this offense. Hurts is MVP, but for a 1 week scenario versus a defense that just bled out 40 to the Jaguars the week before, bled out 30 plus to the Texans. They're not playing that well. I think Minshew can do it. Regardless who's under center, I like the Eagles this week, and I even like them more if Gardner's playing because that brings the spread down more into our favor. And I think we really get it done this week. I think we're 14-1 on the road to victory. You say 30-25. I say something somewhat similar. I'll go 27-23 within that 4-5 point swing that you talked about. And I just think the Eagles get it done. They're a better coach team. We got to remember that.
Yes, that's big.
McCarthy is an absolute bum. He can come up here and there, but he won't come up this week. And Cease, I respect your opinion. He goes 33-17. We're not that far off. If we can flip a turnover, I'm right there with you because my 27-23 becomes 33-34, 16 that fast. So I'm not that far off, and I'm with you. I think we get these Cowgirls beat, and we just keep digging them into their grave that's already preset. They're not about this life. Eagles are.
Yep.
Let's move on to week 17 at 14-1. I'm pumped. I can't wait to watch this game no matter what. Now, Mark, let me ask you. I'll throw out my dilemma this week.
Uh-oh.
Listen, it's not that I'm not a church guy. I like the church. I believe in everything. But Christmas Eve is the one or two times a year that I really feel mandatory to go. I feel like I got to go and do the candlelight and really be there for that day before Christ was born on the 25th, whatever. My church service still is at 4 o'clock.
It's only at 4?
They're going at 4. My wife looked at me and she said, "You don't have to go."
Yeah, that's tough.
I believe her. I really don't have to go, but
right. But like, it's one of those things, though. It's gonna eat at you. It's gonna eat at you either way.
I know it's not right, but now that Hurts got hurt, I'm almost like, I'll buy one. I'll take one for the team. I'll have it on in the corner, like in the back, and I'll be like, I don't know. It just almost feels like a little bit easier to ease into this one. I think I'm going.
I think you go in and you say a prayer because you're doing due diligence. Just say, "Look, let's get this one. Let's get
take 2 cars." Or hang in there.
Hang in there.
So I've heard a lot of other people
the game starts at 4:25, right?
I'll miss a quarter.
You know what I mean? I know. Is it far away from your house or
5 minutes? But the guy that does the service is a Giants fan, so he's not going to move this up. I've heard a lot of friends say they've moved their service up to 3 because they respect the Eagles game. I don't know why he hasn't moved it yet. Why?
I'll say this. Why don't you sit halfway up? Halfway. Don't sit in the back.
Give me
halfway up. Take Eucharist. Scoot out the back.
That's what I feel. I'm thinking.
You have the body of Christ.
I think I scoot out at 4:30. I let them do their thing. I sit in the car.
Yeah,
I'll be in the parking lot.
I mean, I'm just saying you can be out of there 4:40, 4:45.
No.
And if you do take 2 cars then, and just after Eucharist, I think you got to see it through to the Eucharist, in my opinion.
I do, and I don't.
Then just go, instead of going back to your seat, you go down, and then you just walk out.
Jesus. Yeah.
See you, God. You know this is important.
I'll report back next week. I'm in a little bit of.
I'm interested to how you do this. Yeah,
I am in a pickle, and I'll figure out a way. I'm still praying, no pun intended, that we get to the point that the service gets pushed to 3. But if not, I'll figure it out because you know what? The Eagles are my Sunday service, typically now Saturday. Right. So we'll get to that. Mark, let's get into our 3 packs now that we gave out our Eagles picks and predictions. And you know what? We're still looking good. I think I remember saying I can't see how this team doesn't get to 14-3. Might have backed out to 13-4. I got to go back and look at it. Think you were the same way. And we're just getting there. But let's get there with our 3 packs this week on a full pack, jam pack, 16-game weekend. You feeling good? You want to lead off?
That's 3-0, baby.
I'm back.
I'm back. I have 3-0 week, 1-2, back to 3-0. It's quite crazy how that happens. Yeah, so I definitely am willing to take the first game. Let me get to my notes here. Fun week last week. I think we got another one in store. All right. I'm on the train. I feel like each year I pick a team or two that like are kind of my ride or dies. And this week or this year is the Detroit Lions. Lions since firing Aubrey Pleasant, the defensive backs coach. Their defense has tightened up since. They are 6-1. There's 2.5 point. Actually, I miswrote this, but 2.5 point. 2.5 point favorite. I had underdog, but I think they're 2.5 point favorite, if I'm not mistaken, at the Panthers, which it should be. With that being said, I've looked at what the Lions have done, and what the Panthers do at home, and they really don't play too well at home. the teams who are better than them come in there and take care of business. They've beaten their spreads. I wrote that about somebody else, but yes, I like the Lions to take care of business in Carolina. They came off win against the Jets. Jets have a really good defense, so that's why that game went as it did. I feel like the Lions with an easier defense this week kind of have a field day like they've had in weeks past.
I like it. I like it. The Lions are like
they're pushing for playoffs.
They're pushing for playoffs, but they're perplexing from the standpoint of that's a team that has really done well against the spread, but it's really like you got to pick the right spots with them because they gamble too much. But lately, they've been playing teams at their level and not having to gamble. And here we go. And I think this is another one this week. He doesn't have to gamble. If he doesn't have to gamble, they usually play well. So I like that pick. Man, I was going up and down the slate, and there's a few that I really do like. I'm going to lead off with the Minnesota Vikings -3.5 to the New York Giants, and I will take the Vikings this week. Giants coming off a huge game, but I don't know what that fat coach is doing on the sidelines in his black sweatshirt, and I can't even tell what the hell he is. And getting away with murder this week. Kayvon Thibodeau had the game of his life and saved the season for the Giants with 11 tackles from the defensive line position and scored a touchdown, more than Kenny Galladay has had all year. I just felt like it was one of those games. New York came out, and I bet New York, and I'm very happy with the finish, but they survived one with those calls at the end of the game. On the other hand, the Minnesota Vikings +2 on the season, the worst 10-3 team, 11-3 now that we've ever seen, and that's all the noise. The noise is the Vikings aren't good. Well, guess what? When the noise is there, I think they respond this week. I think they survived that scare last week and came back from 33-0 to the Indianapolis Colts. And I think they're going to get disrespected this week. Giants on a high, Vikings on a low.
Yeah.
2.5, it won't go under that number. If I saw it under, I might have felt differently. But at that number, Vegas knows too. I'll take the Minnesota Vikings on 3.5 against those New York soft football Giants.
I had that written down at one point, and I took it off. But
which way were you going?
Vikings. I had the Vikings there because I think the way that the Giants won. I mean that call that I don't think they really deserve to win that game. Again, you have the tie, and then you have their win. And really, it was Thibodeau who scores, a defensive touchdown for them. They have that pass interference late in the game. Just didn't really seem like they earned it. So they're going to be coming off feeling themselves, even though they just got shellacked by us a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I think the Vikings, after being embarrassed 33-0 and come back to win that game, I think they have to have all that momentum riding for them. That's, it'd be an epic collapse for them if they, aren't able to do that, especially after beating a team like Buffalo earlier this year. For my second game, and I did want to say, the Lions have the second best against the spread at 10-4. But now I'm going to touch a team who has the best. ATS.
I know where you're going.
Yes.
The Joe Burrs?
The Joe Burrs, the Joey Burr, take on the New England Patriots in Foxborough. The Patriots, they have the way that they lost that game. You could look at that and say, oh, they're going to come back. Not against this Bengals team. I mean, I'll tell you, the Bengals, they started off slow. They didn't score in the first half, or they only scored 3 points in the first half against Tampa Bay. Very weird game. Tampa Bay almost took themselves out of it, but to score 34 points in the second half or 31 points in the second half, it just means that they just had a slow start. They got back to it. The Patriots are just a dumpster fire at this point. Mac Jones getting stiff-armed by Chandler Jones while he's making an interception on a lateral.
13 for 31.
Yeah.
That was his passing percentage.
And I don't know if Bill wanted them to do that. I guess that was the call play to try and win the game. I don't know why.
No, they said it was improvised, and I believe it.
That was improvised. He's, like I said, I'm surprised he didn't cut the whole team. I literally tweeted out, how has he not cut the whole team at this point because, I mean, that's an absolute travesty because I said it's either he's gotten desperate and just wants to win that bad against the lowly Raiders and hang in the playoff race, or they just went against the grain on that one. Not good. I think this means the trajectory of the Patriots is going down. So I like the Bengals to go into Foxborough and just take care of business.
I'd like it. I'd like it.
I don't know if I said this, but -3.5.
No, I'd like it. Like, how do you respond to that loss? It's the Patriots. I don't know how. And the Bengals have so much to play for.
Yeah.
Crazy. I want to say they're like 10-1 in their last 11 ATS. It's been really good.
And so, well, that's the thing. So I was looking at there against the spread. They had 2 really ugly losses to start the season. Remember, they start 0-2. They lost to the Cowboys in a dumpster fire. They lost to the Steelers during the season, who stunk with, I think, with Mitch Trubisky out there. They just didn't have anything going for them. Now look at them. They'll be okay. That's so really, I mean, if they were playing like they are now, they're 12 or they're 13-1 against the spread.
Yep. I'll take a team going into Sunday. I mean, listen, they're not good, and they're playing a team that's even worse than them. But I'll take the Denver Broncos -2.5 against the LA Rams Sunday. It's a Christmas game if I'm checking this and charting. Yeah, Denver's bad. We all know that. And it doesn't matter if it's Rippon or Wilson this week.
Same caliber.
Yeah, they're bad, but what they showed me this week versus Arizona is they showed me a little pulse. Yeah. And they showed me that even as bad of a year as they've had with Hackett at the head coaching position, they showed a little more than they have in years past. Well, we get the LA Rams that kind of rolled over and died in Green Bay, weren't interested in playing. How much more interest will they have going in this week? I'm not sure it's there. And Baker, look, we can cook all you want. The most he's going to cook up is 17, 18 points.
Yeah.
As long as the Broncos can just have a pulse and stay close to this game, I think they pull it out. I'll take the Broncos -2.5 and some points on Sunday.
With the Rams being eliminated, it can go one or two ways. They can either play the spoiler or they can just roll over and die. I think there's a better chance that they could be a spoiler just because Baker is playing for his career. But at the same time, I think, like you said, the Broncos have shown a pulse. Jerry Jeudy's been playing really well as of late. So, you got that aspect going for it. So I like that pick there. I'm going to end my 3-packs with a Christmas Eve special. I'm doing it. I might be jinxing it, but I'm going Birds +4.5. Give me that right now. I'm going to pound that. I'm going to pound that underdog line. Absolutely going to do that. Whether it's Hurts, whether it's Minshew, take this bet, do it. Because honestly, if they win this game, I think they're losing by 3. That's honestly the gut feel. Their defense is too good, and the Cowboys' offense is overrated for them to go and get blown out. Now, yes, can that happen? Sure. But if I had to put my money on it, I'm absolutely putting it on the Eagles 4.5. No questions asked. Take it to the bank. We've already reviewed this. Go, go, go. Christmas Eve. Have a Merry Christmas. It's another Jeff Garcia, Merry Christmas, Philadelphia. Gardner Minshew will be doing the same thing.
I love it. And I'll tap the game right after that. Christmas Eve night while you're wrapping those presents, getting ready for Santa to come. 8:15. Las Vegas Raiders, Pittsburgh Steelers, a game that doesn't mean much for everyone, but Vegas kind of feels like to still have a chance after that miracle in their own home stadium last week against New England. It's over. Pittsburgh squashes it this week. Pittsburgh -3 for a reason, even though they're worst team here. Vegas is terrible. They're just a bad, bad, bad team, but they find ways to win these quirky games and find ways to blow these big games. Well, this week, I think TJ Watt's all over Derek Carr. The worst part about Pittsburgh is their defensive secondary. Devontae might have a little bit of something going on here, but they just aren't consistent enough to expose a bad pass defense. And Pittsburgh is good enough to probably control the line of scrimmage and dominate from that aspect. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers -3, Christmas Eve, Sunday night, Saturday night football.
Yeah.
We cover that one.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's a toss up. It's like I'm not
Yeah.
even interested after the Eagles game. So regardless of what happens, I mean, I think, hopefully we're celebrating.
We will be. We will be. I feel confident about that. We've
Yeah.
hit the hour mark here. So I'll give one more out. I'm wearing it tonight. I've been to the last 2 Sixers games, went last night with the game against Toronto and the game on Friday against Golden State. What I'll say now, we're 17-12. The Philadelphia 76ers won on the 7-game homestand, won the first 5, but I still don't feel good. I just don't. I like. Oh, last night up like 13 and blew it, and then down 8 and came back. I get it, but the sloppiness, the Doc Rivers sucks. And it's just to watch our Embiid miss 3 straight shots down the stretch, and we go into overtime, and we can pull it off. Tobias hits a big 3, hits another one he got ripped off on, but I just don't. This offense is so dull. This coach is so out of touch. At one point, I looked behind me, and I said, how in the hell in the world, and this is in the third quarter, does he have Harrell, Shake, Tybal, Niang, and who else do you have? A non-starter out there. Milton, if I said Shake earlier. Yeah. Oh, all bench play.
Right.
How do you end up with that 10 minutes into the third quarter? And then they go on this miraculous run where Siakam kills him and scores 18 in the third. That's him. That's him in the beginning of the fourth. The only thing he does is flip Harden for somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this guy has no clue how to run an offense nor how to manage a team. The fact that he just walks around in his fat self, walking up the sidelines, it just irks me anymore, Mark. I don't know where you're at, but I'm fucking pissed. I can't stand watching him coach a game.
Like I said, I don't think the firing comes as soon as we think. I think
doesn't.
I think it comes. But the problem is there are only 4.5 games out there in the
That's
fifth
the problem.
Because the rest of the is not that great.
How do you fire him now?
I know. That's the problem. I mean, like I said, if they lost 3 or more, but they're already past that point, right? They've won their first 5 of this homestand. So you can't bank off that. Even if they lose 2 in a row, that's not enough to fire him. They're not going to do that. He's Doc Rivers, and really we should be calling him Glenn. It's ridiculous. So I hope. I mean, there's 2 things that need to happen. I think there needs to be some kind of trade, even if it's a secondary trade where you're letting off a Thibault, Korkmaz for some. I've seen an offer, not a legit offer, just like a trade machine type of offer that somebody put out there, trading Thibault and Korkmaz for Mo Bamba.
Yeah,
something like that, because Orlando has.
What about Crowder? I mean, can we shake Crowder free with those 2? Or no?
I'm surprised that hasn't come to fruition yet. But now that the Suns were bought today, maybe something finally happens.
And I mean, Crowder wasn't part of this, but you get that December 15th deal that we
I think like 78% of the NBA and of the players are available now, or 88%, something like that, are now available.
I mean, I would trade Tybal for anything that has a pulse. I'm done with him. But you need something. I'm a big Melton fan. I like Melton. And I think you can get by with like Harris has been great. Especially if you just spot him in the corner. He's improved his 3-ball game, spot up 3,
like being able to catch and shoot.
Yeah, I've been very happy, and they're playing Milton more. The bottom line is the Harden and Embiid combo. It's just dissatisfying for me. It is a bland pick and roll from the top that just suffocates everything else on offense. And that's what happens at the end of games. And it's just okay, whatever. We got away with the win yesterday, but you got Pistons rolling in town, probably win tomorrow. Clippers maybe on Friday.
They're
No
playing
test is
Hawaii
Saturday,
Phillies or
Sunday. Those Knicks are tough right now.
yeah, they're what 6 or 7 straight, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the Nets are along the same wavelength right now. So there's something going on in New York.
No, I'm with you, but I just wanted to say, enjoy winning, but I don't like being taken down the track of watching a team that I just see so many flaws on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if the team stays constructed as is, I mean, we're looking at a second round exit probably.
Easy, same as every other year.
Yeah.
But hey, that pretty much wraps it up for our show today. Listen, we're coming up on the year anniversary of coming here to Heat Ratio Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody that checked in tonight. We're going to get at it again next week, no doubt about it. We'll recap the Eagles, Cowboys, and talk about the future of what is a great season and where we're headed with the Eagles. And then we'll talk more about Sixers, Flyers, Phillies. Listen, Mark, it's been a fun time, but I'll tell you what, we're getting to the hot season.
It's hitting season, football hitting season.
It's football hitting season. I can't wait to talk more and more as we get into here the late 2020-22 season. I wish you all a very happy, healthy, and safe holiday season, whatever you celebrate from Hanukkah, Kwanzaa to Christmas and more. I'm Dave Gluckner. Mark, you got anything else?
Yeah. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Philadelphia, as said from Gardner Minshew on Saturday. And look, we're getting into it. We're getting into the thick of it. And this is, some unprecedented Eagles football that we've seen, even with the Hurts injury. We're witnessing something. Just hang on. It's going to be a fun ride.
It is. And that's episode 43. Until next week, one more show until the year ends. But enjoy your holiday season. I hope you get all you want. And for me, it's an Eagles victory, I'm sure.